Good afternoon, everybody. Anthony Aniano here from RotoBaller Radio and rotoballer.com with a fantasy baseball waiver wire for the week beginning Monday, April 29th. Folks, don't forget, head over to rotoballer.com right now. Sign up for any of our premium passes. Use the promotional code ACES and save at checkout. Whether it's baseball, the upcoming NFL season, NASCAR sports betting, season-long or DFS formats, RotoBaller has you covered. Don't forget, like and subscribe right here to the RotoBaller YouTube channel, as well as giving me a follow on Twitter at @AnianoFantasy. All right, let's dive right into it. The week beginning Monday, April 29th. We'll start with some hitters, and we'll start in Boston. Outfielder Waiver Abreu, came over from Houston. He has taken over now every day in the outfield with the injury to Tyler O'Neill, and over the last 2 weeks has been scorching hot. Currently rostered in 31% of Yahoo formats, and those who have followed know the routine. We use Yahoo roster percentages as our talking points, trying to keep this to players rostered in 50% or less in those Yahoo formats. Full disclosure as well, recording this on Thursday, a couple of days before your waivers run on either Saturday the 27th or Sunday the 28th. So obviously stats can change and update over the course of when you see this video. But again, first player, Waiver Abreu of the Boston Red Sox, 31% rostered at this point. Over the last 14 days, over the last 2 weeks, he's hitting .415, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 10 runs scored, and 4 stolen bases, giving you a combination of power and speed, hitting 4th in that Red Sox lineup. Somebody batting 4th on a decent team like Boston, they should be rostered more widely. Now on the season, his batting average is up to 322. His on-base percentage is a fantastic .412 to go along with those 2 home runs, 4 stolen bases, that power-speed combo I mentioned. His OPS is in a very good .954. Strikes out about 27% of the time. Number 2, Cody Bellinger of the Chicago Cubs has gone on the injured list, and the promotion to replace him is Pete Crow Armstrong, the Cubs' top prospect that they acquired from the Mets a few years back. Now, full disclosure, Pete Crow Armstrong is a ++ center field defender. Was not hitting at AAA at the time of this promotion. He was only hitting .203 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. Does he get everyday playing time? That's what we're going to find out. It doesn't make sense for the Cubs to promote him if they're not going to use him, but he does not get promoted with a scorching hot bat. Pete Crow Armstrong, though, is only rostered in 7% of Yahoo leagues, makes him available in 93% of leagues. So he's widely available if you have room on the back end of your bench to take a flyer on him and see how he hits. Okay, we've seen rookies come up and do well this year, but we've seen an equal amount of rookies, Jackson Holliday comes to mind, struggle mightily in their first go-around in Major League Baseball. So be weary, but again, if he hits, he's going to stay with Chicago for a long, long time. Joe Adell of the Los Angeles Angels. I feel like we've done the Joe Adell dance for years now, but he's still only 25 years old. He's rostered in 4% of Yahoo leagues. He's available in 96%. I've added him in spots where I've been riddled with injury. Platooning every day with Mickey Moniak in the outfield. He started the last 3 games coming into this video. Maybe more suited for a daily lineup setting, which is where I have him. When he plays, I'll play him. Since his promotion over the last 2 weeks, he's hitting .316, flashing power with 2 home runs, flashing a ton of speed with 5 stolen bases, 8 runs scored, and 6 RBIs. Now, what makes this year different than years past with Joe Adell, when at one point he was one of the top prospects in baseball? It's his contact rate, his inability or his decreased inclination to strike out. Last season at the Major League level, Joe Adell struck out over 40% of the time. This year, over these last 2 weeks since he's been at the Major League level, he's only striking out 23.3% of the time. You give me a 23% K rate with the skill set that Joe Adell has, and you could see some very significant fantasy numbers. His OPS currently on the season, a very strong .925, as he hits 7th in that Angels lineup. Up next, if you need middle infield help, take a look at the Washington Nationals and Luis Garcia. Currently 19% rostered, available in 81% of leagues. Over the last 14 days, over the last 2 weeks, he's hitting 308, while recently batting 4th in that Angels lineup. as I'm choking on my excitement over Luis Garcia. Hitting fourth in that Angel lineup. 1 home run, 6 RBIs, 1 stolen base. OPS on the season sits at .808 with a .314 batting average on the season and a .351 on-base percentage. And finally, from the offensive side of things, if you need a catcher, take a look at Connor Wong of the Boston Red Sox. Beginning of the year was platooning with Reese McGuire. His recent hot streak has Connor Wong in the lineup each and every day, hitting .400 over the last 2 weeks. 5 home runs, 8 RBIs, 6 runs scored. He's one of the top catchers in baseball over the last 2 weeks with that type of production. Batting average on the season now sits at .370 and his on-base percentage at .386. He's got the highest OPS of any of the hitters mentioned here today at .1053. Strikes out about 26% of the time and is hitting 6th and 7th usually in that Red Sox lineup. Now, on to the pitchers. A couple of pitchers to be mindful of, starting with John Gray of the Texas Rangers. The veteran is 31% rostered in Yahoo leagues. Over his last 17 1/3 innings, 27 strikeouts. That's a strikeout rate of 14 Ks per 9 and an ERA of 1.56 over that period. On the season, his ERA is 2.92, and he's just under 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. Over his next 2 starts, he has a 2-start week next week. Tuesday, April 30th against the Washington Nationals. Love that matchup. And then Sunday, May 5th, scheduled against the Kansas City Royals. John Gray, a must-start, not only a must-roster next week for those 2 starts. Other pitchers to be mindful of. Mitchell Parker of the Washington Nationals comes up. He's had a strong first 2 starts to the season for the Nationals. 12 innings, 12 strikeouts with an ERA of 1.50 and a whip of 0.58. He's actually picked up the win in both of those starts. Now, he starts Saturday, April 27th against the Miami Marlins, and then next Thursday, May 2nd, against the Texas Rangers. Definitely a more challenging start against the Texas Rangers. Eric Fetty of the Chicago White Sox. Remember him with the Nationals. Went overseas. Now he's back pitching for the White Sox. Not going to get many wins pitching for the White Sox. However, 16 strikeouts in his last 11 2/3 innings. 12.3 Ks per 9 over that period. On the season, 30 strikeouts in 26 1/3 innings. That's 10 1/4 Ks per 9 innings. Eric Fetty is only rostered in 9% of Yahoo formats. His ERA on the season is 2.73. His ERA over his last 11 2/3 is 0.77. His next start is Sunday, April 28th against the Tampa Bay Rays, and then hopefully the following weekend against the St. Louis Cardinals. One more starter to be mindful of is J.P. Sears of the Oakland Athletics. Just came off 6 shutout innings against the New York Yankees. 14 Ks in 17 1/3. That's why I don't love him as some of the other pitchers I've mentioned. That K rate is low. On the season, it's only 5.4 Ks per 9 innings for J.P. Sears. 16 strikeouts, 26 2/3 innings. His ERA on the season sits at 3.38, and over the last 17 1/3 innings at 0.52. His next start, Baltimore, April 27th, Saturday. I avoid that. However, his following start, Friday, May 3rd against the Miami Marlins, I'll get him in my lineups for that one. And finally, if you need a relief pitcher of some type, maybe a middle reliever who's picking up some stats for you, Reed Garrett of the New York Mets has arguably been one of the best relief pitchers in baseball this season, pitching in a middle relief role leading into Edwin Diaz. Over his last 7 1/3 innings, he has 16 strikeouts, 19.6 Ks per 9 innings, with an ERA of 1.23 over those last 7 1/3. And what's interesting, over those 7 1/3 innings, he's picked up 3 wins and 1 save. He's got 4 wins on the season pitching out of the Mets bullpen and 1 save in a game where Edwin Diaz got out of a jam in the 8th inning. On the season, Reed Garrett has 25 strikeouts in 12 2/3 innings, 17.76 Ks per 9 on the season, with an ERA of 0.71. So to recap, my top 5 hitters, my top hitter ads for the week. Number 1, Wilyer Abreu of the Boston Red Sox. Number 2, Pete Crow Armstrong, Chicago Cubs. Number 3, Joe Adell of the Los Angeles Angels. Number 4, Luis Garcia of the Washington Nationals. And number 5, Connor Wong, catcher, Boston Red Sox. On the pitching side of things, number 1, John Gray, Texas Rangers. Number 2, Mitchell Parker, Washington Nationals. Number 3, Eric Fetty, Chicago White Sox. J.P. Sears of the Oakland Athletics is number 4. And my number 5 pitcher, if you need relief help, Reed Garrett of the New York Mets. As always, everybody, thanks for watching. Head over to rotoballer.com. Sign up for those premium passes. Use that promo code ACES. Give me a follow on Twitter at Aniano Fantasy. And we will see you next time right here on RotoBaller Radio.